Okay, so part of this program is intermittent fasting, and when we talked for the first time, we talked about putting how we're going to skip breakfast and have lunch and dinner being those two meals that consisted of 4 ounces of fruit, 4 ounces of vegetables, and 4 ounces of protein. And we've had people ask, can I skip lunch and just have breakfast and dinner? And the answer to that is no. We want to implement as much intermittent fasting into this as we can. So intermittent fasting really is just a fancy way of saying skipping breakfast, but the goal here is to have, you have 24 hours a day. We want you to eat 8 hours of that day and fast for 16. So if you stop eating after dinner and then don't eat again until noon the next day, you're very much within that 16-hour window. And when you're in that window, several things happen. Hey, number one is you're going to increase your body's own insulin sensitivity, so you don't have these big surges of insulin that cause you to gain weight. Number two is you're going to help your cells clean themselves out and go through this process called apoptosis, which is a fancy way of saying the cells get rid of their junk and they And number three, you'll actually see spikes in your own energy as metabolism improves. So it's very important to get that 8-hour feeding window. And even on like days where you feel like you're stuck and you're stagnant, you can actually go to one meal that day. And yes, you're going to be a little bit hungry. And yes, we know we don't want to overdo it on that one meal, but it's important that intermittent fasting period is very important. What can it help with? What can intermittent fasting help with? Number one is weight loss. It can it'll reduce your overall caloric intake. It'll increase your fat burning like we talked about. It'll increase your insulin sensitivity. But what we didn't talk about is hormone changes. It can actually change specifically ghrelin and leptin, which are your hunger and full hormones. You can regulate those better. So it's not just the drops that are helping you feel full. You're actually doing this yourself through intermittent fasting. But there's other benefits to it as well, including improved metabolic health. People that intermittent fast have much lower chances of having type 2 diabetes. It's going to help with your cardiovascular health. It's going to increase longevity. There's actually studies that show that people who intermittent fast live longer. It'll improve your brain health. You'll have better mental clarity, better cognitive function. It'll reduce inflammation, and plus it's easy to stick to. But my favorite part of the whole thing is it just makes life simpler. So get in the habit of skipping breakfast, go at that 8-hour feeding window, and just implement this for the rest of your life because it's easy to stick to and it's just something that you can do.